Here are the 5 best weapons to get early on in Fallout 4, right after you start the game. And whether your character is using pistols, rifles, melee, or energy weapon, there's something in here for every character build. In fact, one of the weapons is particularly game-breaking, allowing you to completely disable some of the hardest bosses in the entire game, and have them hobbling after you like an absolute cretin. And of course, I'm also going to be sharing with you the best perks to get for each weapon to maximize your damage for your character build. So without any further ado, this is the first weapon we're going to be getting, the 44 Magnum. It's actually one of the best pistols in the entire game. Early on, this weapon is going to one-hit kill most enemies, and it only gets more powerful as you upgrade it. And the best part is that you can get this weapon right after you leave Vault 111. After leaving the vault, you'll enter your old hometown of Sanctuary, which is located just here on the map. And we're going to be starting from the wooden bridge just to the south of Sanctuary. Again, it's just here on the map, which is located to the southeast of Sanctuary, this wooden bridge right here. We're going to cross over the wooden bridge and then we're going to take a left. You will find a dead raider with a double-barreled shotgun just here and a tire iron melee weapon. But that's not what we actually want. We're going to go left and we're going to head down the bank. Just carry on following this lake all the way along the bank here. You can test out your new shotgun on the wild mongrel, which you'll come up to, and then continue down by the river and drop a like on the video if it's helpful so far. And eventually you'll come to this pump, which is making a very loud noise and it's hard to miss. If you walk over to this, you'll see a circuit breaker lid, which you can actually open. Then if you activate the circuit breaker, it will turn the pump off. And now if we follow this extremely long pipe, we can find the 44 Magnum revolver. Just follow it up the hill here between the rocks. It will lead you to a bright yellow container, which you can now open the lid of, and you'll see there's a secret cap stash here which you can grab a bunch of bottle caps, and on the floor next to the skeleton you will find the 44 Magnum revolver. It is a snub-nosed 44 pistol, so go ahead and pick that up. There's some Now the 44 Magnum has the second highest base damage of any pistol in the game, excluding the Western revolver, which was added in the Nuke World DLC. The only drawback is it uses 44 ammunition, which is quite rare this early on in the game. But don't worry, I've got a guide on how you can get unlimited 44 ammo in the description below. But most importantly, to get the most damage out of this weapon, you're going to want to get the Gunslinger perk and the Bloody Mess perk. But I wouldn't actually bother upgrading it. Instead, you can actually follow another video guide I already made and linked in the description below, which shows you how to get a legendary version of this exact weapon. But if you found Elden Ring to be too difficult, you can now train your combat skills with today's award-winning sponsor, Veda, a Souls-like game which combines Souls-like combat with roguelike progression elements, designed to help you master dodging, parrying, and executing fatal attacks with perfect timing. The procedurally generated maps keep you on your toes, and the roguelite systems provide a much more interesting way of growing stronger with each attempt. Veda is designed as a training simulator that ramps up the difficulty as you progress the story, to help you master the art of Souls combat. Customize your fighting style with a range of weapons, shields, swords, and thrusting weapons, each with their own moveset. There's also secrets to uncover in the underground bunker labyrinth. Veda has been hailed as one of the most anticipated indie games, sweeping awards like Best of Play X4 and G-Star. And the free Steam demo is going to release soon, so make sure you wishlist Veda on Steam from the link below for updates. Let's talk about the second best weapon on this list. It's the Fatman, possibly the most powerful weapon in the Fallout universe, let alone Fallout 4. At this point in the game, or really any point in the game, this weapon is extremely overkill. It's going to decimate anything you point it at. I mean, it literally fires a mini nuke at the enemy and obliterates everything in a blinding flash, including you if you try and use this indoors. So to get this unique weapon, we're going to be traveling directly east from Sanctuary Hills, where we first start the game. And we're going to keep going east past the lake here until we reach the location called the Robotics Disposal Ground, which is represented by 3 crushed cars on top of each other, very close to the location we just found the Magnum. Now, once you get to this location, don't go into this concrete bunker here. Instead, you're going to want to come down to where you'll find this deactivated sentry robot Now you can actually activate this in a moment, but don't do it yet because it will spawn a bunch of mole rats. So we're going to loot this trunk here, and then if we come around and jump on these broken cars, you'll see right on top of this rusty bonnet is the Fatman nuke launcher. Pick it up. Now obviously before we can use this weapon, we're going to need to find some mini nuke ammunition for it. So we can do that by walking back over to this concrete bunker building just over here. And right at the entrance here, you're going to find some tires. And just in between the tires and gatepost, you'll find a mini nuke. Now, if you're looking for a big leg up at the start of the game, there's another little secret at this location where you can activate this sentry robot. To do that, you need to come into this concrete building right here, where you're going to find a terminal and also a hot rodder magazine, which will unlock a custom paint job for your power armor if you pick it up. If you activate the terminal here, go to play tape, after the loading screen, you actually have an option to activate the sentry bot. So hit that and then say yes. Sentry bot is now armed to kill you. Just kidding. Press play tape again, and you'll have an option to deactivate the sentry bot, engage its defense protocol, or initiate a self-destruct sequence. Click on engage defense protocol, and then you can tell it to defend 4 different locations. Now the closest location is USAF Olivia. If you click on this location, the sentry bot will then fire up and start moving towards it. The sentry bot will then go to that location, clear it of any enemies, and then return back for your next mission. Now it is possible for the sentry bot to get destroyed in some of these missions, but it's also a pretty cool Easter egg you can use to your advantage. Now you're probably thinking it's pretty strange that Bethesda decided to give the player the most powerful weapon in the game right at the start. But the main problem is the fact that the mini nuke ammo this weapon uses is quite expensive and quite rare to find. There are a few fixed locations in the game where you can get a bunch of mini nukes, or you can visit weapon shop vendors and they'll actually have a chance to stock it, and their inventory resets if you fast travel away and wait 2 days and then go back again. But early on it's a bit of a struggle, so it may actually be better just to sell it once you've used up all the ammo. It does respawn after 20 in-game days anyway. Next we have the third but also the fourth best weapon to get early on the list, because they can be found at the exact same location. One of them is actually a unique legendary melee weapon known as Big Jim. Now this melee weapon allows you to make even the toughest boss enemies in Fallout 4 absolutely harmless by just hitting them in the kneecaps. Because in Fallout 4, after an enemy's legs are crippled, especially if they're a monster who can't heal themselves, they'll go into this down state, as you can see here, and they cannot attack you. They just sit on the floor and sort of flail around a bit in a struggle. Some of the enemies require you to take out one of their legs, and then they'll start hobbling really slowly until you take out the other leg, and then they'll just be sitting on the ground. And at this point, obviously, they're very easy to shoot to death or even just melee to death. Now, the reason this situation is possible is because of Big Jim's legendary weapon effect. It's called Kneecapper, which gives you a 20% chance to cripple enemies' legs. Since you can attack once per every 1.1 second, you're going to be setting off this ability with every 1 in 5 melee attacks, which is pretty often. It also works on humanoid enemies and robots as well. And the fourth weapon we'll be getting is a rifle that you can upgrade into a silent sniper, which is just incredibly fun to use at any point in the game. So both of these weapons are located over here on the map. Once again, we're going to start from Sanctuary Hills. We're going to leave Sanctuary by crossing over the bridge I showed you earlier, and then we're going to be heading directly south from there. And if you look on the map, you'll see that you eventually go under a underpass road, and then you want to keep going south until you arrive at a small pond or lake, which you can kind of see the outline of here on the map. This is actually a marked location called the Walden Pond. And when you first arrive, you'll see a few houses around, one of which is called the Walden Pond gift shop, and the place appears to be quite abandoned. If it isn't for a note on the door, you wouldn't think to investigate the nearby sewer that opens into the lake, because it's here you'll find a secret bandit encampment hidden underground. We actually want to go to the pond itself because there's a secret bandit camp at this location. If we come along the edge of the pond, you'll eventually find a sewer pipe, and in this sewer pipe we can find, it's pretty dark in here, but we can use our Pip-Boy light to provide a light source. If we come inside, you're going to find a little container at the back here, and this actually has some bottle caps and jets in which we can grab. And then if we follow the tunnel, we'll eventually come out to a small little underground encampment where you'll find a few bandits talking. Now at this point you can turn off your light and just go ahead and shoot them with the magnum that you brought with you. They have melee weapons, so you're going to want to take care. But they're pretty easy to take out if you're using the magnum you got earlier. They're going to have some ammo on them as well as some raider armor, and you can go ahead and loot them both. But most importantly, we have the first weapon we can find at this location. Just on this duffel bag, we're going to find a short hunting rifle. So go ahead and pick that up. It's a guaranteed location where it spawns. The best rifle you can obtain this early on in Fallout 4, because it uses the common 308 ammo, and it can also easily be upgraded into a sniper rifle by adding the short scope at the weapons workbench. This can actually be added without needing the gun nut perk as well. So it's very accessible to craft yourself an early game sniper rifle. You can also change the barrel size, which is dramatically going to increase the range. And if you want the weapon to look cooler, you can change the short stock into the marksman stock. You can also increase your magazine capacity dramatically with a large quick eject mag. As for the damage, you can increase that by changing the receiver. But next, let's head back to the underground bandit lair of Walden Pond so we can continue to get the fourth weapon. The duffel bag, on the other hand, has some ammo in it, and if we drop down the side here, there's some psycho, water, and Tales of a Junktown jerky vendor, which is a series of magazines that's going to give you better prices when buying from a vendor. Highly recommend grabbing as many of those as you can. Now, if you carry on following this cave, you're going to come to another area where the bandits are hanging out, so make sure you avoid these can traps just here and sneak down the corridor, and you'll come into another room where you'll see another two named bandits. One at the top here that we can headshot with a sneak attack, should one hit kill them, and then this guy's going to come check out what that was. Let's go ahead and take him out too. Then we can loot the gift shop key from his body, as well as a bunch of ammunition. And using that key, if you come over to the safe here, you can go ahead and unlock the safe for a boss level chest of loot with pulse grenades, RadAway, and even a stealth boy. Now, if we come up the stairs, we have the legendary weapon that we actually came here for in the first place, and that is Big Jim. This gives a 20% chance to cripple the target's leg. You don't even need any perks to upgrade it with the hooked attachment. But if you do invest in the blacksmith skill, you can put the heavy attachment on the weapon, which allows it to do over 340 damage. You can also find some ammo boxes to loot, and there's a bottle cap mine in the corner. Now, if you actually head upstairs, you're going to be able to use that gift shop key again to open the front door. Now you're outside, you can loot the cash register for some more ammo and bottle caps, and just out the back here, it's worth looting these bins for some more ammo. Next, we're going to be grabbing the 5th and 6th weapons on our list, which can only be obtained during a quest. Now, this is also the quest if you want to join the Brotherhood of Steel faction as well. So starting from Sanctuary, we must travel all the way to the southeast, as if we were going to Diamond City. We're going to go past the overpass road here on the map until we reach the town of Lexington. This town is located before you cross the river towards Diamond City, and it's here that you're going to find the Cambridge police station. Now, when most people play Fallout 4 for the first time, they normally come this way pretty early on in the game, so it's a pretty easy location to sort of happen upon. And actually, when you get close to the location, you'll get a new quest to listen to a new radio signal called Military Frequency AF95, which you can access from your Pip-Boy. And if you tune into this, you'll start the quest Fire Support. This is the first Brotherhood of Steel quest, and it adds a quest marker to the Cambridge police station, which is a fortified location where the Brotherhood of Steel have set up their forward base. Once you arrive at this location, you'll find Paladin Dance battling wave after wave of ghouls. You can go ahead and wait nearby or even assist him in the battle. And once it's safe, he will talk to you and ask for your help. Make sure you say yes to assisting him, because next you're going to get a quest called Call to Arms. Now, before heading out, you can actually go into the Cambridge police station and freely loot all of their ammo and medical supplies, which is pretty damn handy at this point in the game. Once you're ready though, talk to Paladin Dance and he'll tell you to follow him all the way to the Arc Jet facility, which is located on the map directly west from the Cambridge police station. just over here. Now this is an easy journey to make because there's no high level enemies, and you also have Paladin Dance with you, who's more of a bullet sponge because he fires that laser rifle like a damn stormtrooper. Now once you arrive at the Arc Jet facility, you can go ahead and head inside. The building itself is a pretty linear progression. You're going to be attacked by a few synths, but you're not going to get lost. But eventually you will come to the engine room where you'll need to restore the power. So we just come and follow the stairwell downwards here and carry on going all the way to the bottom. Paladin Dance will now split up with you. You won't be able to activate this elevator here, but this other door is open, and if you come inside here, you'll find an open door that you can come through. Now it's just here that we find the 5th weapon on our list, the Junk Jet. We'll talk about the 6th weapon in a moment, but the Junk Jet is the jankiest weapon in Fallout 4. It literally fires junk at enemies. For ammunition, you need to scavenge the environment for any items that are considered to be junk, like a wrench or a bucket. You can then load that junk into the Junk Jet, which will open your inventory, and you can just deposit all of the junk into the Junk Jet. It has unlimited capacity for ammunition. And yes, when you fire it, you can also go and pick up the junk you just fired and put it back into the Junk Jet, effectively giving this weapon unlimited ammunition. But the best material to use as ammunition for the Junk Jet is either steel or wood. These are the most common crafting materials in the entirety of Fallout 4. You can farm them very easily by scrapping anything, or even buying the extremely cheap shipments of steel and wood from the various vendors. The only drawback is that it weighs 0.2 weight per shot. And even when you put it in the Junk Jet, it still counts towards your character's overall weight. So alternatively, if you want weightless ammo, you can just use pre-war money or burnt magazines, which weigh nothing. And don't worry, every single projectile you use does the exact same amount of damage. Each shot has a base damage of 40, and you can do an additional 30 damage if you actually hold down the trigger to charge up the shot. You only have to hold it down for a second and then it's at max power. But also the Junk Jet can be modified as well to do an additional 17 electric or fire damage, which is super effective versus certain enemies who are weak to those damage types. You can also increase the range and even add a iron sight as well. Overall, the Junk Jet is just an incredibly powerful meme that just works. And the damage actually scales even further if you grab the Heavy Gunner perk, and again, the Bloody Mess perk. Finally though, moving on, we have the 6th best weapon on our list, and to get this one, we need to finish off this quest by helping Paladin Dance. To do that, we next need to restore the power to the elevator after we just picked up the Junk Jet. At the terminal over here, it's a novice terminal, and once you pass the password, you can restore the power to the facility. Make sure you also grab the fusion core on your way out though. Unfortunately, turning on the power causes a wave of synths to attack you. Paladin Dance will be tanking them all for you, and a really easy way to get rid of them is just to activate the big red button to test the jet thruster engines. This will do a countdown before incinerating every single synth in the room in a fiery toastery death. Just make sure that you loot them all afterwards, because you can get lots and lots of fusion cell ammo, the most common energy weapon ammo in the game. After that, you can take the elevator with Paladin Dance to the next floor. Here you can find the rest of the synths holed up in the headquarters. So take them out, and after you're done, you can search all their bodies, and you'll eventually find what Paladin Dance was looking for, the deep transmitter in one of their bodies. After that, you have to take the elevator back to the surface, and you'll come back outside. At this point, Paladin Dance will talk to you, and you would have completed the quest Call to Arms. As a reward, he's going to give you the 6th weapon on our list, the Righteous Authority, which is a laser rifle that for some reason is better than all the Institute's laser weaponry. And it's also a legendary weapon, so it has the legendary effect that makes all its critical shots do double damage. And it also makes the critical meter fill 15% faster when you're firing it in VATS. This means that you can stack up way more critical hits than normal. Now, your critical hits using this weapon will allow you to do obscene amounts of damage. Specifically, if you're building a character that uses VATS, this weapon is going to be perfect. You're going to want to get the Grim Reaper Sprint perk, the Critical Clover perk, and also the Critical Banker perk, which allows you to store up lots of critical hits, so whenever you like, you can just press a button to unleash double damage repeatedly on anything you're firing at. For that reason, the best way to make this weapon super powerful is by upgrading it at the weapon workbench to prioritize damage. But also, you want it to be as light as possible, because the heavier a weapon is, the more action points it's going to cost to use inside VATS. So you can see this is the build I went for. Those are the stats on the bottom right there for you to copy. But if you're looking for even more powerful, unique weapons like this one that have also just been added to Fallout 4, make sure you check out these other weapons that you can get from this point onwards. Now you're ready to travel a bit deeper into the map.